Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. It's Sunday morning. Nice, relaxed, peaceful, right? Yeah. And what I have been doing for the last couple of Sundays is not necessarily named it, but talking about it, kind of like a mindful crafting, something that I want to work on. Okay, well, I'm knitting and crocheting anyway, let's face it, that's what I'm going to be doing, and playing with yarn, right? Yeah, I love my yarn, no doubt about it. But there are some times where I'll get things in my head, certain deadlines that nobody's setting except for me, because I'm weird, and putting pressure on myself for no other reason but because I can, because again, I'm weird. And I decided, I don't need to do that. So for the last couple weeks, there's been like a day that I've sat aside and I'm working on something that is just taking a lot of my energy because I choose to. Like the one week, it was all I wanted to do is work on neon squares for Camp Boggy Creek. I mean, that's it, right? Not a lot else got done to the degree that it could have. I'm like, whatever, I still progressed, I still made things, I still enjoyed myself. So that was all that mattered. And yeah, that's what I'm working on. So this week, I don't know if I would 100% call this one mindful, as more determined. And I lied, determined. So if you've been following a lot of other YouTube content creators lately, for the month of August, you've got quite a few of them that are doing Vlogmas in August. They're doing a video a day. Hey, I do that anyway. Hi, welcome to my world. Nice to have you here. But they're doing this video once a day, August, every single day. And Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming and Jan from Alaskan Crafter decided I'm going to make this kitty cat blanket. This is the pattern right there. That's a lot of gridding, right? Let's see if I can show the color work of it. They use a variegated yarn on one side and a solid or whatever, or you can do two solids, right? So the cat blanket. This is the cat's Meow blanket. So their whole goal is to do like 4 rows of this thing a day for the entire month of August, and then they'll both have their blankets done. And they gave all of us 6 weeks to get it done. And then Jan's offering a prize. I think it's two people winning $40 for postage to mail this blanket for donation for Camp Boggy Creek. And I think that's wonderful. So I started to swatch this thing and I came up with just all sorts of things. I had this one, which was way too big, and I had this one that was perfect, but it would make a nice stiff blanket. And I had this one like the Goldilocks and Three Bears, just right. I liked the way it felt, but it was going to be a big blanket. Normally I wouldn't care. I really wouldn't. Bigger, whatever, no big deal. But since I'm donating it, they have to be a specific size or within a size range. 35 to 40 inches wide and 40 to 50 inches long. If I did the needle size with the worsted weight yarn, they said it'd be a lot bigger, like 50 something wide and probably 60, 70 long, just way too big. Perfect for me or for a family member or something like that, but not for the intended recipient. And then this to me felt too stiff. And there are people who have sensor issues, everything else, and that would be uncomfortable. I didn't like it. I mean, it's a size G hook. I like my G hooks. I didn't think it had enough drape. I mean, it just stands on its own. I just didn't like it. I liked this one the best. It was a size H hook. But then that's going to take math and everything. My battery's getting low. That's okay. We can work this out. We'll ignore the battery. But yeah, this was going to take math because, again, it's a grid pattern, right? There's places you can cut it off. Like for width-wise, I can just remove some of those stitches, which I did. And then for lengthwise, we talked about, I could just like cut off so much at the bottom or something. There's 5 rows at the top after you finish the top of the cat's ears. I mean, there's some spaces that you can do it. So that's what I decided to do. And my choices of yarn for my contrast, man, now I'm tangled, were these two. But with the way the pattern was originally written, with the yardage that I had, I didn't really have enough of either one of these to be the whole variegated cat, right? And I like both of them. I was leaning towards this one, and my husband said, do this one because it's more flamboyant and more like my personality. So those were my choices. I did go with this one, and I'm using just the plain black big twist. Now this is Hirschner's Neon Lights that I got last year when they first came out with these bright neon beautiful colors. My first time using it. Probably the first time really using Hirschner's yarn. I might have used it previously, and not this particular one, but you know, a Hirschner's yarn, but I'm not remembering it, right? That's just how that goes. So I started it, and you see this? You're carrying 4 balls of yarn to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You have 4 sections of yarn. And when you get to that tail section, you've got 5 or 6, depending on if you're going to crochet over the tail, so to speak, and whatever. You know, and then the stitch on this is called a knotted half double crochet. Brand new to me, and I have been watching a lot of people's channels, and they're having hard times with it. Their gauge, I don't know how their gauge is tiny. I don't get it. Like Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, hers was, this whole thing was gonna be like 31 inches for her wide. Mine's like 50 something. I'm like, whoa, how? I just, you know, I don't get it. But we all crochet different. I didn't think it's that different, right? And I've never been accused of being a loose crocheter. It's always been, you know, just like a medium average tension. But whatever, I don't care. So the stitch was new. I mean, okay, I'm saying that as far as the loose, but down here, that was definitely loose. And then I got tighter and worked on it. And then, you know, my other swatches, I mean, it's almost a scarf. I'm just, you know, and that's the swatch, whatever. So I tried. Everyone else, well, not everyone, but I've been hearing all sorts of people having issues with this gauge. Cuss words were used, friendly natured cuss words towards Laura and Jan for picking this pattern were used. At least that's the rumor, okay? Rumor has it. So you've got that. There's a lot of frustration, and it's crazy. So there are quite a few people who have just said, I'm not going to do this half double crochet, this knotted half double crochet. I'm just going to make the whole thing a half double crochet. Okay, truthfully, you know, the squares on the grid, they don't care. They don't care if you knit it. They don't care if you crochet it. They don't care if you do this knotted half double crochet I'd never heard of before. You know, it's like 2 half double crochets together. They don't, you know, the grid doesn't care. So you can still make the cat and still make a cat blanket. You could do it all single crochet if you wanted to. You could. You know, it's choices, right? We got choices. So I have this knotted mess. Yeah, I got another ball. Yeah, okay, so here's all my attached knotted mess. I know, it looks like yarn barf. Yeah, there's 2 things of black right there at the moment. It looks like yarn barf. I am dealing with just a tangled mess. Yes, just a tangled mess, but it's okay. I got this, it's fine. And I do have the tail hanging down on the, well, here, look how stunning that yarn is working up. That to me is so much better than I could have imagined. I am doing the knotted half double crochet the way the pattern calls for. What I did is, I think it's on one of these sides. I don't know. One of the sides. Is it the side with the tail? Nope, this side. This side right here. What I did is I trimmed off, if you want to call it that, 10 stitches. So I'm doing 10 stitches less. The pattern has it as 110 stitches. I have 100 stitches wide. Yay me! Faster, right? And right now I think it's like 38 inches wide, which is perfect because as long as I'm 35 to 40 inches wide, I'm golden. That's awesome. I'm loving that seam down the middle. It's not really a seam, but you can see that where the black meets the nice, beautiful color. It is straight. There's no deviation. There's no leaning. There's no color bleeding on the black, black bleeding on the color. I mean, that line is perfect. That surprised me. Okay, but wow. What I did to make sure my blanket is not going to be over 50 inches is I cut some rows. I looked at the chart. Let's get to this chart. I know you're not going to see it in detail. That's why I don't have a problem showing it. Let's see. Okay. Come back. This. come back. Okay, so on the chart right here, I looked at things that had the exact same thing, 3 rows, or you know how it's going up right there in the neck for both sides, you know, places where it might have 3 rows or something like that. I cut 1 row. So what it also has that I love, and for everybody that's trying to look at this and they've printed this out on one piece of paper, you can't see it, okay? You can't. Just don't. They do have it broken out where you can print multiple pages and tape them together, but wow, that sounds horrible too. But the thing that I found wonderful is you've got written out instructions like that. I know you can't see it, but you can see that it's written out. What they do is, hey, row 1, you start off, and it starts with a foundation half double crochet, which I did do, but not everyone did, whatever. So row 1, you're doing 37 stitches, main color, then 23 stitches of your contrasting color, then 29 main color, then 21 contrasting color. That's perfect. So they have it written out, so I don't have to go look at the grid and count the grid, right? So that is amazing and so much easier on the eyeballs. Now I do look back at the grid to see. One of the other things that I did do is before I started mine, I printed off, there's 4 pages of this written instruction, row by row. Perfect. I mean, I love that. So on that, I print off those 4 pages. I looked at the grid and then I'm like, okay, which rows do I want to delete? And then on my printed off page, I scratched off that row number. Like, I'm deleting row 2, I'm deleting row 6, I'm deleting row whatever. So I have that printed off and I didn't do those rows. So that's why, let's see, I'm already well into the tail and I think I've got like 30 rows or something. And I think for you to be into the tail, the first row of the tail would be row 33. And you can see I've got quite a bit of the tail, right? This once I added that other color, right? And how many rows do I physically have on my blanket? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. I have 31 rows. All right, 31 rows. And if I don't cut any more rows, I'll 80 more rows for the blanket. I don't think I'm going to cut any more because measuring this, and do I have a measuring tape right here? No, I don't. I did buy another measuring tape today that's really cute, but it's not sitting right here. So on this, I think I figured out I don't need to cut any more. I had it written out. I had all of them scratched out. I had 12 more rows that I was going to cut, you know, on the neckline to where it's like maybe a little bit shorter, a little squatter. I don't need to. I'm good. And I will fit within this parameters, about 38 inches by 40 something inches. Perfect. As long as it's not over 50 inches long and as long as it's not over 40 inches wide, I'm good. You know, you can add a border if it's too small, but if it's too big, it's too big and the child wouldn't be able to take it home. And my goal is to make something so wonderful and so bright and so happy that a child can take home with them. So the other advantage to me for cutting all of those rows is I'm not going to be using as much of this, and this is what I was going to run out of. So being that I have cutting the 10 stitches doesn't make a difference because I cut that on the black side, not the colored side. So that's not going to make a difference. But the rows themselves, less rows, was using less of this. So that should make the difference. I shouldn't have an issue. I should use almost all of it. Yay. And I'm good with that. That's perfect. So that is where I am, 30 rows into it, and I'm loving that. Now, you have lots of choices in the pattern on how you want to deal with your yarn. You can see I have a tangled up mess. It's not necessarily how I want to deal with my yarn. It just, that's how my yarn is being dealt with. It's a horrendous mess. What I did do is for the black, I had one of the the big twist pound skeins. So I've got a ball winder. So I wound some off into a cake, and that's what this is. You know, they don't look like cakes any longer because, well, I started from the center and they've been destroyed. So I did that. And then I also wound, so I ended up with 3 pieces, if you want to call it that, of this, because I now have 3 sections where I'm using that bright color. I mean, isn't that fantastic? Look at that. These have such short color repeats in them. It is amazing for this pattern. I didn't expect that, but it's wonderful. So what I'm doing, so I don't have 6 tails at the moment, is I am crocheting. When I get to here, I'm crocheting over the black. So I'm using the black from here and there, and I do my little drop stitch right here to do these things, right? These knotted half double crochet, go across, and then go back for that black again. So you can maybe here, I think you can see it on this side a little better. You can see, you know, if you pull it, maybe a little bit of the black, but not anything drastic. I'm good with that. It saved my sanity because I didn't really think that I needed to have another skein of yarn hanging off for just that little bit. That's just me. Right now, the color section, I've only got 4 stitches, 4 of the knotted half double crochets right here. You see what they look like? Aren't those cool? Yeah, so that's kind of fun. So I'm enjoying it, surprisingly. I know it's crazy. It's not a travel project, go figure. I mean, you can see the mess that I've got as is with that. It's going pretty well. Like I said, 30 rows right now, and where am I? Oh, my pattern's over there that I have it marked off, because I am marking off each row that I do. So I remember, especially since, like I said, I was not doing all of them. Oh, it says I'm on row 45 in the pattern. Obviously I've only got 30 rows. So I cut 15, right? I cut 15 rows. Perfect. And yeah, so 80 more rows, I think, is where I'm at. 80. Somewhere on that, 80 more rows. And if I need to, I can cut that few off the top, or whatever. I don't think I'm gonna need to cut any more. I think I'm right where I need to be, and it will still be a beautiful cat. Everything is still within the whole theme of the pattern and the goal of the pattern, and I think there's going to be a child that will absolutely love this blanket. And that was the other goal too, is to get far enough to where you could really see it. Currently, my husband doesn't really see it yet. I've shown him, I'm like, hey, what do you think? And he's like, what am I looking at? And I said, it's a cat. And he's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, look, can you see the cat butt? And he's like, no, I don't see the, I'm like, yeah. And you see the tail? And he's like, oh, this color's the tail. I said, no, that's not the tail. The black's the tail. And he's like, I don't see it. And I said, yeah, the tail's going to come up and it's going to curl around. And he's like, you're seeing things. It's not real. I'm like, no, it's cute, right? I got a black cat and a white cat. He's like, where? I don't get it. Where's the cat? I'm like, well, this is the cat and this is the cat. And he's like, you can't have both of them as the cat. And I said, yes, you can. Yes, you can. So this is also my first time making a blanket like this, and learning things. Like I said, knotted half double crochet. Didn't know that was a thing. Following the chart for this, no. Again, I'm not following the chart. There are a lot of people who printed that off and are trying to see that chart. No. Do you see how tiny, and you know, you put that on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, right? That is tiny. I mean, at least on the iPad, I can go like this and go, okay, well, each one of those big blocks is 10 stitches, right? And the little blocks is 5. You can count it like that on the iPad, but when it's a sheet of paper, you can't zoom in and zoom out. That doesn't work. So I am following the words that were written, and you know, looking at the graph itself and everything and seeing that, and I'm following along quite well. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of this. So what do you think of the color? Did I do good with the color choice? Okay, let's face it, it was my husband. Like I said, I was leaning towards this one. I know it's a surprise, but this is the one I was leaning towards. But they're both gorgeous. So there we go. And I was able to stay within my stash. Yes. You know what else would be really cool is, now that would be, everyone's having different problems and issues and everything with the gauge, but I do have a bunch of these cakes of yarn right here. That would be an interesting thing to do, something along this line, you know, because it would gradiate through on one side and then a solid on the other. It would be a definitely different size. Those are cotton acrylic. The blanket can be cotton. It can be cotton acrylic just as long as it's washable. It doesn't have to be worsted weight acrylic. So, you know, if you do have an abundance like I do of those cakes, I could do something along that line. Now that would take a lot more work because that is a smaller yarn, and then it would be a creativity with the border. Yeah, and it would be lighter weight. But not everybody that goes to this camp, think about it, the camps in Florida, the children that are going are probably closer to Florida. You know, that doesn't say kids can't fly in from Utah to go to the camp. They can't fly in from Colorado to go to the camp, you know, warmer climates. But, you know, I would guess, and that's just a guess on my part, that a lot of the kids are local within, you know, so many states, right? And then maybe warmer climates. So a cotton blanket wouldn't be bad. Yeah, doing different things. It just depends on what you have available and how you want to deal with things. So, but maybe after I make this one, I won't want to make another one. I don't know. I'm good with it now. I got the stitch down. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, I don't know if I would count this as the mindful project, more of a determined project. Yes, more of a, you are not going to beat me. I am going to figure this gauge thing out. I am going to figure out how to do this. Yes, that's so, it's not the typical mindful, restful, this is what I want to do and push everything out. It's, but I'm going to do it. So that was my stuff for this week as far as that's concerned. I'm not gonna lie, I'm thrilled. I think that it's turning out so much nicer than I expected. I didn't expect it to be bad, that's not what I mean, but it is gorgeous. And look at that. I did not realize this yarn, look how fast those color changes are. That is crazy. So there are no long repeats. These color changes like that. And that is what's giving this, like each stitch is a different color. I mean, it is just going through that so fast. Look at that. You know, I mean, they're stacking on each other in their own randomized patterns. That is fantastic. So having a blast with that type of thing. I was really happy with that. It was such a surprise with the color. Did not expect that. So I'm wondering, is this the same way? I mean, I could do it. I could do it. It's mine. I haven't done that. I haven't pulled that off. Okay, so I don't want to play with the pull thing in the center. See, look, Terschners, we got a pull tab. I don't want to mess with that. All right, so let me figure out, where are we on the outside? Oh, there we go. Outside edge. Oh, wow. Okay, so it is. I think they're a little bit longer on the color strips. What do you think? Okay, I'm gonna check this out. It's science. This is science. Not really, but we're gonna play. Okay. That's what I'm using in my tangled mess. So yes, overlap with some blues and purples. So let's see, got a purple here. The bottom one is the blue purple one. Okay, so yeah, this has faster color changes than this one, but they both have rapid color changes. Look at that. That is amazing. That is so fun. Okay, I want to play with this one now too. Yeah, I do. That's fun. I like the way that turns out. Some things, okay, let's face it, a lot of things, you don't want something so busy. That's crazy busy, but it's gonna be awesome. This thing screams perfection for crazy busy. So yeah, there we go. So I've got this color that I can do something else fun with. Yeah. Oh, if you're a Joanne Fabric yarn fan, what have you, like the Big Twist? Big Twist right now is $2.79 a ball, normally $4.49. I know, salesperson thing. Sales pitch, sales pitch. I don't get anything from it. So it's right now $2.79 a ball. And if you have the app, I hate apps, but I do have this one. I hate them. You can get your 25% off if you buy it online and pick it up in the store. That puts it at $2.09 a skein. Okay, so if you need some, you know, don't be spending the rent money. But if you need some and you got an extra few dollars, now's the time to do it. And you can also do the pop it in your cart and everything if you don't have the other coupon. I think I do have that one, where you can also do the 25% off and $2.99 shipping. So if you're not close to a Joann and you have that stupid app that I hate that app. I hate all apps. Put it in your cart and ignore it. They're going to send you that coupon for 25% off and $2.99 shipping. Order what you want, need, etc., can afford, if you choose to, at that $2.09. Big savings because it's listed as lowest price of the season. You can use the coupon. The other stuff is listed as doorbuster. You don't get to use the coupon. Okay, so that's yarn math. There you go. That's my public service announcement for the day. You know, if you need it, if you want it, it's a great price. You know, don't go buying it otherwise. Just, yeah, you know, gotta pay the rent. Anyway, that's all there is for today. Come back tomorrow. I'm not doing Vlogmas, but I'm here every day anyway, so you might as well come join me, right? There you go. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be, and I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.